Alright guys, we're here at GNS Designs. I'm going to show you guys some videos. It's been a minute since I posted a bunch of videos. I'm going to try and go live a lot now too, because I don't have time to do videos on TikTok as much as everybody would like it to be, but I'm going to be doing them live on YouTube. But here's GNS Designs. This is my shop. As you can see, here's the Hellcat I'm working on right now. And like I said, GNS Designs. Walk around my shop a little bit. I could turn the camera around, but it doesn't want to work that well for me. So, but yeah, this is what we're working on right now. So here we go. I'm gonna show you how to do a wide body kit. All right, guys, you see how this looks right here? I'm gonna show you guys how you do this. Stay tuned, pay attention, and you can do this too at home. It's easy, easy breezy, beautiful cover wrap. Yeah. All right. Anyways, so I'm gonna open up this door. I'm gonna show you something real quick here. So when I open up this door, you should be able to see nothing other than this. See, it looks good, beautiful from back here all the way around. This looks like that. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna do the same thing to this, same thing on this side, and this right here. Customer wanted the paint protection film all done over the top of it with the wrap, so we're gonna take this wrap. This color right here, psychedelic, you can see it, look at that. Look at dude. All right, anyways, we're gonna take this, put it all on this right here, and then we take the remnants of the leftovers and put it on here. You're gonna see the process here in just a second. And I'm gonna put you on this camera tripod stand right now, like this. And I'm gonna show you. We're gonna use that Nipis tape that's right over there. You can see a Nipis tape right there. We're gonna apply that and put it on here. So here we go. I'll put you right here as I go along and do this. I got a little bit here. Should be able to do this whole piece here. If not, we got another one right down there. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna apply it. So when you put this on, make sure you put it along the edge here, because you too can use dental floss. I'm just playing. This is design line tape. You can pick this up from Amazon, Metro Restyling, any one of those places, just like that. So when you do it, make sure you put it on here correctly, so when it comes up and around, it's not too wavy, not too crooked. Like I got a little bit of a hill right there, so it's a mountain. I'm gonna pull that mountain back up, readjust that mountain. You don't want Mount Rushmore on here, right? Right. You got this bad boy right there. We'll do another one right there. I mean, I can pull it up, do it again. So the thing with design line tape, you can take it and you can go along with it. They sell many different types. Like finish line tape. Finish line is more of a straight line product. This is design line. We can make flames. People use it for camo designs. We can make camo patterns. Like if you want to go as far as doing the young Gulf, like the gentleman out of Atlanta Custom Wraps, out of Atlanta, Georgia. HCW. As you can see right here, if you do this, this is what you get. Always want to make sure you have enough lead on the end here in case one side messes up, you can use the other to follow along. So just like that, you can see comes up all the way down to the other side here. My finger's on the wrong side. I'm looking at the camera. I should go like this. Something like that. You know what I'm saying. So anyways. Right, so now we're gonna take this film right here. Purpose of this is so you do not cut on the car. There's gonna be times you're gonna need to cut on the car, but sometimes you don't even need to do that. So I'm gonna take this film here, which I made it to be 9 inches. So 9 inches is going to cover this whole thing. And if it doesn't, then what you gotta do is you stretch it along. So here, I have plenty of coverage here. I only need enough to cover this part where the design line tape is. So I'll come up here a little bit. I got enough here. Because I'm not doing all of it, I'm only doing this part here where the body line is. It comes straight up like this. I have enough to cover here. So I barely have enough, which is okay. The more material you use, the more of a waste you're gonna have. And I don't wanna use a lot of waste. You're not making money off of waste. All right, so now we come down here, just like this. All the way up. Perfect. Now this is the 2080 3M psychedelic. You can see here there's a line right here. It is not from the film, it is from the PPF that's currently underneath here. So when you guys are wrapping stuff over stuff, you're gonna still see what's underneath there because That's just what it is. It's thin material. So it's aesthetics, it looks pretty, and that's about what you get. The install, what it is whoever installs this is gonna make it look good. Now, if you get an installer that, you know, you're driving the car, you go to the shop and you can't see their work, what they've done, I mean, you get what you pay for. So right now, I'm feeding this down. I've not used any heat yet. I do have the heat gun on, as you can tell. I can hear it on. So the only time I'm gonna need the heat, because the way I position the film, is when I get ready to do the edges. So right now, I got this set up right here. This is going up all the way, and then here's the same. So right now, again, I've not used any heat yet, which is awesome, because then I got the material to weigh exactly the way I want it to weigh without having to manipulate the material. All right. So now I got this all set up. I can lift back the material a little bit over here. And now it is all ready to go. So now the only thing I gotta do is just manipulate these wrinkles here, because I got this design line tape right here. Put this up there. And I'm gonna flip the squeegee over, come up, so now you can see when I'm doing this. You can see right there when I push on it. Now you can see the design line tape right behind it. See that right there? The tape's easy. You can see a little bit down in here. But I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna come up here real quick first, and then come down here, and here, now look, it's all gone. So right here, I made so much, so thin, so close that this is where the tape is. So I cut it close, but I didn't want to waste any material. So now, because this bends right here, I'm not gonna get a good enough. Oh, maybe, look at that, look at that. So if I come all the way down, there we go. So the material will work this way all the way. So you can see it worked out pretty good. There is one little piece right here. I just got that out. Now the other thing I can do too after I do this is I gotta do a relief cut down here anyways, because here's the bottom of the door. This is the side skirt right there. And I'm gonna pull this tape. And then after I pull the tape, there is a, what do you call it? A cover cap on it. So that way when you're using buffer and squeegee like this, you can see how I'm scuffing it right now. You can look here in the film. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's scuffs in it. So because there's a little bit of scuffs, don't matter what kind of buffer you use. I've come across not one yet that doesn't leave a little bit of a micro scratch on it. Even though it's a self-healing material, it'll heal itself. But with 3M, the only good thing about that is when you take this material here, like I'm pretty much done with it, but I'm gonna show you. So I'm peeling off the cover cap. So now all that scuffs and scratches you saw is no longer available. It's not there no more. It's gone. Just like that. And poof, it's like magic. Now the other thing you can see too, again, I didn't cut on the car, which now I'm going to cut some of the material off because I need it, is cut back here a little bit like that. I'm gonna fold it over, which you can do whatever you want. You can even just cut it off because you don't need this part anyways. So I'll put that piece right there. Take this design line tape. All right, so I'm gonna pull it back here a little bit. Don't pull too hard on it, because if you do, you'll break it, and then you have to go down to the bottom and redo it. So now I got it all set up. I'm gonna pull it all the way down. So when I'm pulling it, I wanna follow it all the way. You don't wanna stop, you don't wanna turn it. Keep it pulling straight, exactly. So when doing so, you get a nice, good, clean cut. So now when I pull this material, it's got two filaments on it, which I'm gonna try and grab both of them at the same time. So like I said, this is like dental floss, see? So whoever came up with this idea of dental floss in the filament has definitely had a great idea. So now, let's tear all this off here, and look at this. It's beautiful. The only thing you gotta do is clean it up a little bit, like so. I'm gonna push it down, clean it up. And just like that, you got a piece. So now when you get ready to cut this off, same thing. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this piece here instead of cutting it completely off, because I wanna bend it and fold it around. I'm gonna lift it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna open the door. So now when I open up this door, you could probably do this all in one piece, but sometimes when you sit stuff like this in one full piece, most likely it's gonna fail. So we don't want it to fail. So now this is the part where I'm actually gonna use the heat gun, and I'm gonna fold it in just a little bit. Not a lot, just work with it. So I just need it to come up in here a little bit. I actually want it to come down here because I need to get rid of this extra stuff up here. And a lot of the stuff here that I'm doing is going to be cut off, but I'm going to try and save as much as I can because I need it for when I put the cap on. So I got a little bit of a crease right here. I'm going to work that out just like that. Come down, and we're good right there. So then now, after I got that all set up, I'll take this, follow the body line. You can use knifeless tape or you can cut on the car. If you are really good at cutting and don't put a lot of pressure on it, you can get a nice good clean cut like so. And then I'm gonna come across this way like that. And you got a nice good clean cut right here. So now all that extra piece that I just cut off, because I want this piece I have here on the bottom, how I cut that. So now I can take this, when I fold the inside, I can get it covered like this. So it's a piece of material that I just cut. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna put it up here on the door because that way I can use my waste, my scrap. So now what I'm gonna do is take this piece here, and when doing so, I'm gonna heat it up because you can see you only need, what this is like a 1/2 inch down here in the door, and I have all this extra stuff, which you would always rather have extra amount of material, because if you're trying to heat this up and put it around, you have a very good chance of having, like right here on the, if you can see, here I'll zoom in on that. I'll turn it up. Come on, tripod, you can work for me. All right, so if you're only using this amount of material and you get all these little fingers here, you can't pull it around and smooth it in. Then the material is going to shrink as soon as it hits that sun. So with the amount of material you have here on the door, you can see there's quite a bit of material there. We don't need all that material, but I do use a little bit of extra material so that way we have a lot more coverage. But that's what I do. Everybody's different. I mean, there's no way, rhyme or reason, just as long as it works best for you and you find a way so it doesn't fail. So I'm gonna heat this up right here and push it in, slowly work it in, so that way when you pull it in place, it's gonna stay. Now I didn't put any tension to it, and everything works all the way up into here. Then the only thing I gotta do now is just trim it up. And just like this, now you have a nice clean cut, because what I ended up doing was using this body line to set my knife up against it, and I put it all the way down. I didn't push it in, nothing, I just held it against the side and I cut it. If you run into a situation where the knife isn't cutting all the way, snap that blade off and change the blade. You should be at least changing the blade as many times as you possibly can. Again, so like I was saying, the scrap pieces here, all you do is you put it up on top of here, readjust yourself to where it needs to be at. If you don't like that, you can always reposition it. I'm gonna move it just to show you guys. Whether I liked it or didn't like it, it don't matter, but just to show you guys this reference. Now, like I said before, when you're putting an end cap in here, you can definitely see where the last time you put material. So that's where I cut that line right there. And when you can see that little piece that I have right there, which I don't like that. So I'm gonna bring this back up here. It's not necessarily to be there. So I'm gonna take that piece that I just have right down here that I don't need because I'm having coverage underneath. I'm gonna remove this here, so that way also it doesn't show. So I'm gonna take this and cut it up here, nice and smooth and easy. No need to press hard, because if you press hard, what happens is you're gonna leave cut marks on people's cars, then guess what? You gotta repaint the car. So I'm not doing that. So now this here that I just fixed, I can bring this back down, and that mark that I had right there is no longer there anymore. So the only line you should see is the one I created right here, coming down the side. And after you tuck all this stuff in like this, now all you gotta do is just cut it. So I leave at least 1/8 of an inch so I can have it covered on the bottom. Okay, I'll cut this off because I don't need this anymore. I'll stick that there in case I do need it. And then what I'll do is there's the body line of the door jamb right here. So I'll cut this like so. And like it is, straight down, like that. And up. And I know I probably could have left that piece there because I'm wrapping in the inside, but I'm gonna put a new piece in here because I don't want this piece to fail. So again, I got a piece of this here, and I'll put it up on top of here just to show you as an example, because I'm gonna use an actual fresh piece on this one though. Then when you do this, you put this in the inside over the top and you trim it and it looks good. But this way, you don't have to worry about that. So after you pull that piece off there, now you can put a fresh piece in it, because what you want to do to happen is you want a brand new piece right here, and you don't want it to fail, and you're trying to do a color change so it makes it look good. So even though I got it like this and I shut that door, it'll probably be hidden in the inside anyways, but I can still see gray right there. So I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna go the extra mile, obviously, and make sure that vinyl covers this inside piece because we don't want it to show. So as soon as I get done cutting this piece up on the outside here, and I'll show you how that looks like just after that. So trim that piece off, cut this off right here. Trim that right there. I'm gonna take this piece here because this is long enough that I just saved on that. I'm gonna push it down all the way on top of here, make sure it looks good. And if it isn't, I can always reposition it, which I'm gonna do right now because it's got a little bit of a curve to the door. Okay. And then I'm gonna push it up against the door edge right there. Have it come around the back side, like so. Okay, so now you got that coverage done right there. So now all you gotta do is just trim it out real quick, and then you're good. So I'm gonna trim it just right around this body line, just enough, so it still covers a little bit. And you're not gonna see it anyways, so just make sure it's good all the way down. So when the client opens the door, they don't see gray. That's kind of what you want when you're paying for a color change. Okay. Just like that. I'll show you what it looks like just a second. As soon as I cut this bottom piece off right here, make sure it looks good. And what I do is, you can see here in the door jamb, you can see the body here of the car. So I get you adjusted real quick here. You can see that you usually just go into this inside piece here. If you want to go further, you can. Just depends on how much material you have and how far you want to go. I should say how you calculate how much material you have. So what I do is I just use this body line on the inside here because you don't really need a whole lot. And just follow that body line all the way down. And then when you're done, peel off the excess. And then look at that, it looks nice and clean, okay? Because you don't want a bunch of material up inside here. It looks like crap then, but then it looks like this. So now, you're gonna have a nice, clean, finished product. So, as we covered the inside piece and the inside here, from the inside all the way up to the inside right here. The only thing I gotta do is I had this little extra piece up here that I need to cut off, which I believe I cut it already. Let's see what we got here. Just zoom out a little bit as I got some material in my hand. Yeah, I already cut that, so I just had to get that off there. All right, so we got that all taken care of, like that. All right. The only thing left to do now is to trim up that bottom down there. So as soon as we trim up that bottom, which I can do that real quick here, make sure it looks all nice and pretty. So like I said, you can either do a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/8 inch, but I usually do a 1/4 inch. Try to get it most as best and clean looking as possible. I have the heat gun blowing up underneath it real quick here, but I don't really necessarily need. But I always leave it running because it takes a minute to get hot. So I'll fold this one piece up underneath. And then I'll take this piece right here. Okay. You can round the corner, you can cut the edge a little bit, whatever it takes for you to make it look nice and pretty on the bottom. So now I'm going to do this, roll it a little bit, slowly work at it, and then add a little bit of heat, that much. You don't need a whole lot. All you're doing is just making it sit a little bit. And that's it. Post heat it. It takes longer to do this when you're talking on a video, but it actually doesn't take this long to do all this. Illustration takes a little while, but you know how it goes. So I'm post heating it. Now the next thing I have to do is wrap this whole car, because I got to wrap the whole thing in one piece. Show you another video on that one. But when doing that, I got to put a piece of knife tape from here all the way down, getting it ready to go. So when we wrap the whole thing, I can pull this to sit on top of the car. And then just like that, now you got it all working so it all matches. So now, because I put the piece of gray in there, and that piece that was sitting inside there, now you can't even see it. So now when I put the knife tape on the body line from here to here, we put a whole piece on the side of this car here, because you have to, for the simple fact that to make it look like paint, you got to make sure this whole top of the body all the way the same, because this is the most expensive part, because what happens is the piece here goes up and over the pillar all the way around, so it's one huge piece. So you figure on average it's going to cost anywhere between $700 to $800 is what people are going to charge you to do this one piece right here, because you have all of this down here as a waste if you have to redo this whole piece right there. So we do this whole piece, we make it at least 10 inches, give or take, longer than what it needs to be, so that way we have coverage between this door jamb, this door jamb, two together, and then this door jamb to cover all of it, to cover all of the paint issues. So, but there's a lot involved when doing this stuff, especially with a wide body kit. You have to make sure it's perfect. This piece here is going to be one piece right there. You could do it as one full piece, but I don't want this thing to fail. So what we're going to do is take this here, knife tape again, wash my finger there, knife tape down to that body line. Just trying to focus on my finger, not the car. And then put a full piece across, because I want to make sure it's perfect. But that's just me. That's what I do, try to make things perfect. Yes, not everything's going to be 100% perfect, but that's just the nature of the business. So you're always going to be, you can try to be 95% at least, that or better if you can. But that's what I do. I try to make sure it's 100%. Even though at the end of the day, it's never going to be 100%, but that's just my only goal is always 100%. But that's how you guys do that. Thanks for watching. Get ready for the next video. Until then, peace out. It's a wrap.